Hello, it's Nikki, and welcome to a brand new episode. On a Thursday, we often talk about visibility, speaking up, messaging, connecting with your ideal clients. And today's episode is all about 5 personal brand safety checks that your ideal clients would like you to complete. Now, I love a checklist, and I've got notes, by the way. Let me just find my right piece of paper. I know that I love a checklist. I'm not very good at just waiting and hoping and wishing for something to happen. So these kind of things are really good anchors for me that I come back to and have that sense for me to make sure that I've done my work too. I've fulfilled my part of the process. So I would love you to investigate these in every facet of your personal brand. This could be how you talk about yourself when you're out networking. This could be your email signature. This could be your social media content. This could be your link in bio. This could be your website. This could be how other people introduce you. All of these touch points will be a great opportunity for you to explore. Secondly, I think we are in a time right now where people know what's what. We are not back in the day where people don't understand online marketing. I remember, I can't remember who it was, but I remember the conversation. That person saying, actually, I do remember who it was, but I'm not going to say. That person was like, I went on this website today and it feels like they're following me everywhere. It's like, oh, yes, they will be because you accepted all cookies for the rest of your life. And now they will. Now they know that you're interested in that particular situation on that website. They're coming for you. They want to find you. They want to know what you want to buy. And they're going to keep marketing to you until you do. So gone are the days where your ideal client is gullible or just going along with things, or if you scaremonger them enough, or whatever awful toxic behavior people encounter, if you do that enough, then they'll become a client. No, people are much more discerning and thinking about things in a very different way. So the first thing I would love you to explore is, are you who you say you are? And who you say you are you actually being? There's a lot of R's in there, I get it. It's really easy to, especially, let me use the industry of self-development. It's very easy for people, whether or not they're in the industry, to read a book and then share all the information about that book that they've read like it's their own, like they're going to teach a course on it and share this information. It's not their information. It's information that they've read that has been created by somebody else. Equally, you might be in a place where you're, I don't know, talking about habits, for example, and yet your habits are totally chaotic. Or sometimes I've had this with parenting experts that I've witnessed. They work all the time. They travel all over the world giving conferences on how to parent. And yet their kids are brought up by somebody else. Now, everybody has their own way of doing it, but always you need to practice what you preach. And you need to make sure that that alignment is there right now. Now, of course, who that identity is, what that personal brand looks and feels like, and how it develops will be ever changing. But for now, right now, are you in alignment? I want you to come back to that. People will be looking. People will be Googling you and checking you out. And almost to the point, especially if they're not sure, they might be looking to catch you out. They might be looking at a bad photo of you from 2018 on Facebook. They might be doing that. I would love you next to explore what are the logistics and how does it work financially working with you. And this is something that will come up a lot, especially if your clients are interested in your work, they like your work, they like you, they get exactly what it is that you are selling, and they really love the results that you're offering. They will have two pieces that they will need to make sure they feel as though they can answer a solid yes. Can they afford it? Are they going to feel completely and utterly financially stretched? Or is there a way that they can make this work for themselves? And sometimes it is that moment, like the first couple of months of paying for something, it feels really stretchy to add that new income that needs to be paid for, that new invoice. However, you know that that investment is going to be great and the ROI will come in month 3 or 4 or whatever it is. I want you to be very cautious, not cautious, maybe cautious. I want you to be very candid about the process, about the logistics, about what it's going to take. Because nobody really, I don't think financially, nobody really likes surprises. Nobody wants to be sold a dream that is just like, oh, it'll just be this and you'll get these results within 2 days. If that person doesn't get the results, or what you are offering feels really out of reach in terms of the commitment and what is needed in order to get those results, that person is going to feel really wobbly about the process. For me, having done this for 15 years, I would rather be upfront about what it takes in order to achieve the goals that you want to. I used to do this for years where I would overestimate how long it would take me to, underestimate how long it would take me to get somewhere. And my timekeeping was all over the shop. This was a long time ago, by the way, because I didn't want to let anybody down, or I would hold on to things. And now I'm much more upfront. I'm like, this is what it is. And even though that might feel uncomfortable, and even though that might mean somebody goes, oh God, no, that sounds a lot of work, I'm not going to do that, I would rather act from that honest place every single time. I know that when people are thinking about working with you, they need to make sure that they are going to be nurtured and taken care of in the process. So for you as a business owner, you might be thinking, I'd like to get 100 people into this cohort of people I'm working with this next time. That's great if that works out and that feels a really good number for you. But are you more committed to the people that are coming in, as in the numbers, or are you more committed to helping the people that come in get the solutions that they want and need? And I know that many people worry about not being able to fulfill it. So when I signed up with a coach to work with her for a year, so many people in her space were always saying, but what if I'm left behind? What if I can't do it? What if I'm the worst person that you've ever been? Like, I think so many people are really hard on themselves in that way. So how can you talk to those people, and how can you show that you're going to support them through that process? Who are they right now? I think it's really important to fully recognize and acknowledge where that person is right now. And for a long time, I used to see courses being targeted at mompreneurs. And it's like, you can do this at any stage of motherhood. Well, I am going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say this. I think who you are as a first-time mum is 3 weeks when your baby is not sleeping through the night is very different to having a 7-year-old, for example. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rules, but there are moments when lots of children will go to school and there will be more pockets in the day where life will be more predictable. And so I want you to truly acknowledge where that person is right now. And if that person has less capacity, how are you as the business owner going to be honest about that in terms of it might not be a fit? But also, if they are committed to moving forward, how are you going to support them? How are you going to meet them where they are at? Is there going to be, for example, a replay element of all your live parts of the course that somebody with a 3-week-old baby with the best will in the world may not be able to make? I want you to think about making sure you're really speaking to that person you want to welcome and acknowledging where they are at right now. I love this. I feel hugely honored to hold space. It sounds a bit Miss World, sorry. I feel hugely honored to hold space for people's future dreams. And one of the phrases that people will say to me at the end of a coaching session, and I've heard it so many times, is people will say, "That felt so good to say aloud. I've never told anybody that before. I didn't want to be too much, you know? I think when you're really clear on what it is that you want, like maybe people won't like it." And I'm always flabbergasted when that moment happens, because especially if I've just come out of a session and their goal is and their dream is so vibrant, it's so alive, and yet it's just being kept for them. I want you to show up and be that person who is there for it all, to support them where they are right now and take them all the way through. So, for example, if you are a sports coach who coaches at Olympian level, you need to say things like, "I want to take you all the way to the top." And you don't want a coach if you are an Olympian, for example. I'm clearly not, but if you're an Olympian who's going to be like, "Oh, but don't get your hopes up because not everybody wins gold, you know." No, that athlete has never ever thought about that. Seriously. We have to be that person, and we also have to work on our own ego and make sure that we can hold space for that person. With my coaching clients, I always want to be that person who runs with them and goes, "Yeah, go on, you can do this. Absolutely." I'm never going to be that person who goes, do you think that's a bit much? Do you think that goal's a bit big? Come on now, let's just do something a little bit safer. I have no agenda in this. If you are sharing your hopes, your wishes, your goals, what you want, or maybe your insecurities, your gaps, your vulnerabilities, your uncertainties with somebody, it takes a lot of courage to do that. And so making sure that you as the business owner, you as the expert, however you identify, you need to make sure you can hold space in a way that feels really good for them. Lots of love. See you next time.